Welcome to the First 40 Sports Show with the squad. This is Black Thor, Ice Water, and Puma. Black, give me your first hot take, man.
I don't, we all know I don't follow baseball much, man, at all for the most part. But every now and then I see something that throws me back to a day gone past. And I can't remember the pitcher's name, but recently I think it was a Met pitcher, might have been a reliever or whatever. They took him off the mound, and my man basically walked off the field and threw his glove into the stands. And then when the reporter asked him about the team that he was on, he said, "This is the worst effing team." and if I remember correctly, he said MLB. And the Mets released him the next day. I wanted to get you guys, if you guys are familiar with, get you guys a reaction to it. I thought it was hilarious, man.
Ice?
Man, it's crazy because guy that frustrated is usually probably something that he did, right? It's not often that they somebody did something to him. But for him to be that frustrated, it's time for him to walk away and maybe find another profession, right? You can blame in a team sport, you can blame your team, but usually with something like that, if you're hitting 300 and you got about 22 home runs, you really don't come out and talk about F this team, F baseball. It's usually something internal that you're dealing with. So I don't know what it was, but kudos to him finding a different profession, the one that's gonna pay that amount of money. So most people be like, you know what, you just had a bad day, go home, deal with it, get some counsel, bring it back, because you're not probably gonna find no place that's gonna pay you them type of checks to play a game. I'm just saying.
I love it, man. I love it. Just if the organization sucks, let's start calling it out. Let's start let's start being real with some of this stuff. Because I'm looking at the Chicago White Sox, man. This got to be the worst baseball organization on earth, because it's almost like they can't get out of their own way. And it's a bad, even the manager just went off and said, you know what, these guys are slacking, they're not playing to their potential. And he's even frustrated. So, forget the participation awards and, oh, everything's going to be fine. Just call it out for what it is, and the Mets spending all that money should be much, much better than they are now. I'm serious. I don't see why they're this bad, but sometimes you get to that point where you got to take it to the streets. You got to tell the truth. And I commend this guy. He told the truth, his truth. I'll say that, his truth, and said, you know what, this is the worst mother ever baseball team. Sometimes you got to take it there, Black.
I love it too, Mo. I love it too. Now, some people might say, because Black, you don't follow baseball. But it reminds me of the old days. I can't think of this cat name, man. But it was a brother that was a manager. I remember the uniform was blue. It might have been the Kansas City Royals. We came into a press conference, asked a question, he went off. He yanked the phone out of the wall, threw the phone,
McCray,
all that stuff.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that, man. It's like, you need that from time to time, man. I'm sorry, man. Let the guy cool off. I know they release. Let him cool off, bring him back, man. Send him off for a while, suspend him, because it's emotional, man. It's emotional. I mean, you got to realize these cats come up from farm leagues and all this stuff to get there, and then get stuck on a bad team. And we always, and I get professional. Don't get me wrong. I get it 100%. But we always want there to be something that not and act like robots. My man wasn't a robot that day. He just let loose. He just let loose. And who would not want to be in their job one day and let loose? Just I'm tired of this, that, and that. Just let loose, man. But I thought it was hilarious, man. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. And hopefully somebody else signs. I don't know how good he is. Hopefully somebody else signs him and bring him back, man. He just had a moment, man. He just had a moment.
Ice, what are your hot takes?
Let me ask you this. When we're watching sports right now, is there any sport awards that you know of right now that you think is going to disappear or fold like in the next 10 years?
What?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I know it's funny, the quick, fast response would be the WNBA to say that, but they're putting a lot into it. The expansion going to Toronto, basically the influx of new talent that's coming in, the eyes are paying attention. Social media now is a big part of that league. So I think they would have been on the grill maybe a year or 2 years ago. I'm not sure they're still on the grill. I think the NBA, for whatever reason, don't want to deal with the backlash of letting that league go because they do. There's going to be a backlash. I don't think they want to deal with that. So I think they'll find a way to kind of get it going. So I can't think of a league, man. I don't, because for the most part, they generate money in some form or fashion. Money's being generated. So if you take a loss here, you make it up somewhere else. So no, I'm scanning the landscape. I can't see a team. I mean, a league. Ooh, no. I mean, hockey for the most part is just as strong as vibrant it's ever been. I mean, now that I think about it, two football leagues, USFL, XFL. I'm not sure. They're pushing it up. They're signing it. I'm not sure if that's going to make it 3 years. I'm just not sure. If they don't find a way to tie into the NFL, I mean, the NFL basically tie into them and kind of support them. And even when the NFL had teams abroad, like, minor league, that didn't do that well, man. So I don't know about that. Those two leagues, I would throw them on the grill.
Yeah, that was going to be my choice. The spring football leagues. They're not going to be around. They combined leagues this year. I think it's a UFL or something like that, and we're doubly not interested. I mean, they've advertised the games and where they're going to be and all that stuff, and I am making no effort. And I've watched, a couple of plays on some of them, and I'm not interested. I don't know the players, and so yeah, that would be my first choice. The UFL or whatever it's called. It's just not holding me interest, and I don't know if you can get people really interested in football in the spring. I don't know how you do that because football is like a seasonal thing. Once it's there in the fall and the winter, after the winter, when it's done, it's pretty much done. We're in basketball season now, so spring football to me is going to be a constant challenge to try to keep upright in 10 years.
So you're not down with He Hate Me? I mean, not this year. Well, I would definitely throw the two spring football leagues on the grill as well as stated earlier. But I got to throw the WNBA, man. I hate to say this, but I want to see them succeed. But I think the NBA, things are rolling right now as far as the popularity of women's college basketball. And I think they're trying to build up on that. But can you sustain that for 10 years? Because we know what it's all about. It's always been about what can they produce? What can they do? What I want to see is, this will never happen, but I understand it. It has its place. Just like we talked about spring football, football in the spring. We're talking about basketball in the spring, right? / summer. Talk WNBA. So my question is, will they be able to sustain that with the growth and things of that nature? How many more Caitlin Clarks? Are there going to be any more Caitlin Clarks? Is it going to continue to thrive that it is? And the way that is it going to still be good basketball? And that's the question I have, because I think the transition with the newer players and the way that things go, some of the players coming into the WNBA seem like they have that privilege, right? They feel like they have a right to be spectacular, right to be promoted and things like that. And I don't know after a while if the NBA, who owns the WNBA, that beautiful excitement right now starts to tarnish, because we know the NBA can turn real quick, right? It's not like you making a bunch of money now. They're making an investment, but they're gonna want a return on their investment. So my question is, are you going to continue to make more money, or more fans going to come in and do what they do, or is it going to start to dwindle? So that means they start pulling back the charter flights and going back to coach and things of that nature. It's show me what you're working with. Give me some cash so I can invest more. And if you don't, we pull it back. And we just keep y'all at Title IX status. We're doing it because people think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, and especially if they keep hemorrhaging money and they're not making a profit on the league, they're constantly in the red. Let's go to the NBA, man. And then there were two, the Celtics and the Mavs. And I texted Black the other day. I'm like, man, I'm liking the Mavs to take it all. And he's like, oh, too late. You're on the train, too late. And so when I text him the next day, I think they lost. And I could hear both of you like, man, Schleprock messing us up again. We had a good thing. But give me your eye test on the NBA Finals and the Conference Finals, Black, because I thought it was very interesting how the Mavs really kind of took over. And we said this a few weeks ago that the younger teams coming into the playoffs, still need some more steps, still need some more veteran players. And you could see that in Minnesota. You could see that in OKC, who were ranked higher than the Mavericks. But you just saw that lack of veteran leadership. And there are some growing pains that have to happen with these younger teams. I think they're still going to be in the fight next year. But the Mavericks with Jason Kidd, Boston, I don't know. I think they had an easier route to the conference finals. But your eye test, man.
Yeah, man. I just want to say this as a throwback because you check the archives. I remember a few weeks ago, I'm not even watching the NBA playoffs, man. I'm not watching it. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, yeah, that's those Dallas Mavericks. Come on, man. Come on, man. You got to ride the train, the whole train, man. You can't get off at certain stops, get back on, bro. You got to ride it out. I'll say this, man. I'm very impressed, and I've been for a while in the playoff series with the Dallas Mavericks, man, from top to bottom. The coaching, you see the growth where when they made the trade, where Luka and Kyrie Irving realized we don't have to go out here basically and dominate and be you give it to me give it to you. They got players they trust. I mean, that center, that rookie center, Lively, you got to be kidding me, man. The other center they have, I think his name is Gaff or whatever. These cats, man, they come in the game. They're just not basically playing D. They're scoring. They're looking to score. They run the floor well. They got players on the outside shooting, and Jason Kidd has done a miraculous job, man, coaching these guys up. And Luka has turned into an absolute. I mean, he's always been a good shooter. I'm not say that, but his passing, bro, his passing now is like something you got to be aware of. And he's damn near unstoppable. With that being said, he's unstoppable with his passing and his shooting. And Kyrie Irving, man, I said it before. All this went on with him, and this cat would have just kind of humbled himself years ago. I think Kyrie Irving probably have like 3 or 4 rings right now. If he just kind of basically would have settled himself down, and his maturity, as you see now, he wants to be the older guy, mentoring, coming in, helping out, developing, and he picks his points. He knows when to put the foot on the gas. He knows when not to, and that right there, man, it's gonna be tough to beat. I look at Boston, and as you said, easy road, man. Easy road. They're getting back their big man to start game one. But to me, I don't know mentally, even though their road has been easy and I think they play well, but Boston, when it's in a tough situation, it's like they take their ball and they go home. They take their ball and they go home and they're okay. And I just don't think they're mentally tough enough to withstand what they're going to have to withstand coming down with the Dallas Mavericks and win 4 games. I give them a game or 2, but I don't go beyond that, man. I don't think they're built mentally tough. I think Jason Brown is. Tatum has yet to show to me that he can stand up in key moments and get it done. Even I've watched him out the playoffs. He's when it's not really that important, he's out doing his thing. When it gets tight, he doesn't want that smoke. He just doesn't want it. Al Horford, big fan of his, but is he going to be able to battle with those young bucks underneath low? I don't think so. And we already know that the guy that's coming back, he's only a minute or 2 from getting injured himself again, so he may never make the whole series. Let's get real, man. I go back to the night he was drafted by the Knicks, man. Yeah. Say no more. When that little kid, we forget that sometimes. He was drafted by the Knicks. Phil Jackson drafted him, and that kid was balling. When he was crying, just shaking his head, man, tell me, I always remember that as a ex-Knicks fan, whatever, man. That's the reason why I don't follow the Knicks much right now, because I don't want to look like that anymore, man. I don't want to look like that. I don't want to, bro. So I stopped, man. I stopped. But it should be a good series. I think the NBA has done themselves well. What they got to realize is that they got to start promoting some of these younger cats, man. They got to find a way to push these younger cats. Forget the old heads. I know they run the play in Paris this year. I'm sorry. I'm tired of Kevin Durant, all the other nonsense, man. Forget them. They done their thing. Look at these young cats, man. Give them their time. Give them their space. Let's watch them develop, genuine. Watch them develop, and let's allow us to enjoy them instead of every year giving us 80 games of the Lakers when nobody really wants to watch them anymore. They're not relevant anymore. That's what comes out of it. And I guess Charles Barkley and the rest of them off television finally. I'll smoke a cigar behind that.
Well, what got me interested in the playoffs is these younger teams. OKC, Minnesota, watching Denver. And it was some good basketball. And you didn't see the usual suspects. You didn't see Stephen Curry. Not hating on any of them, LeBron. You didn't see some of the older guys in it. And you were kind of wondering, I know I was kind of wondering, I'm like, okay, who's going to come out of this? Because you're not seeing the usual suspects. So that's what got me kind of interested. And then the games were fire. You're seeing these emerging superstars and you're going, okay, I want to witness this. Ice, your thoughts, man?
Yeah, it's just a lot going on. Let's start with Boston, Indiana. Boston is, they're coming through without Porzingis, right? Holiday stepping up. They kind of got him in the background a little bit. But I think Indiana really overachieved all the way throughout. They beat a injured Knicks team, and then when they got to almost to the show, the places where they were imperfect started to come out, where they started to unravel. So you start playing against Boston, it clearly matches up with you a lot better than that from the standpoint, and they just literally overtook them because it was like you never been here before. You're young, you got a couple injuries, coaches looking around crazy, not getting the fire they need, and when you run into Brown, you run into Tatum, right, and then you run into the guard White coming up too, along with Al Horford doing what they do. It simply was almost seemed like an experienced team destroying an inexperienced team. And I think something that Indiana will learn from, but it wasn't their year. They overachieved, right? But it wasn't their time. And there's now Boston has moved on to the finals pretty quickly, pretty easily. So we'll see what happens as we move forward. But Minnesota, Dallas, I love Edwards for Minnesota. Tough trooper, gives everything he has. But I think in a lot of ways, collectively, he was kind of let down. The team was let down because as much as Towns was shooting threes and whatnot, and then the other big fella that you love to talk about from Utah didn't show up a lot of times. Conley gave what he could, but when they needed to turn it on, it wasn't enough. And I think they thought they could coast, do a little bit here and there, and they could step up and get Dallas. That was like, nah. Once we knew we won game one, once we knew we could get you, then we was gonna take y'all down the rest of the way. You're not fighting back off of this. And it was all like you see injured animal, like I said before, they put it down. Luka has looked lights out. He's shown that he's big time, and people want to make him top, one of the GOATs already. I was like, can we give him a little bit more time past 6 years before we start crowning him anyway? I said that before. But my point was, what I find ironic is how many of these sportscasters and these other naysayers is coming back now apologizing, including that dude from ESPN to Kyrie Irving, right? And Kyrie Irving is the same dude, bro. Say what you want to. You try to act like he changed or he growing up. Kyrie been the same dude, bro. Maybe minus him realizing in Dallas, I'm playing with another dude that gets me. And when he does that and he respects him, he comes full circle. I know y'all hate to say this, but when he played with LeBron, he respected LeBron because LeBron brought it to him the same way. Which LeBron, even though nobody want to hear this, LeBron always knew that dude could play. He always said that, despite all of the BS that's been going on in the anti-Semitism, and sanitism, and synonism, and all of isms, he always said, if he come out here tomorrow as a free agent, I take him. Because the dude can play. And I think that he finally realized, like, look, I'm playing with a dude that really loves it and understands me. And not only that, I respect this game. And these young dudes are following. And not only that, it's working. Also, too, let's throw in the factor that Jason Kidd is a phenomenal coach, man. You just can't see. That's the thing. You don't want to talk about that. They keep that on the low. Jay Kidd, it's all Luka. No, you gotta. I mean, when Luka Doncic to play defense? It don't happen. But collectively, as a group, they come together and they're showing you. I said from the beginning, I thought they was missing the third person. I always said that. But collectively, with the Gaffneys, right, and the Livelies and some other cats in there, they've come together and they're playing. That third person I'm looking for is a combination of a lot of people, and it lets them do what they do. And I said it before. I said Kyrie Irving is type dude. You want him on your squad. I want him on the Olympic team. I mean, you may not like him, you ain't got to love him, but put the dude on there because he can play. And he's fundamentally sound. And people go, oh, whatever. But you think about it, his godfather is Rod Strickland, bro. So he's been watching all world, all pro, all everything his whole life. He even got the mannerisms of the game. But getting back to the point, they have just came out and they did what they did against Minnesota because they wanted it, they believed in it, and they got other people to buy in. And that's why I said always in basketball, chemistry is so key.
I want to just say this, if I got to mention it earlier, man. I mean, years ago, I told you Towns wasn't about it. Years ago, I've been saying it. And it's funny, no one, people have seen it now for what it is, bro. That cat's a clown. I'm just gonna say what I said. Cat's a clown. He really is, man. You should not be in the league that long where Ant is younger than you, needs you, you don't show up. This man was coming down taking bricks, 3-pointers, and being happy, running down the court smiling. Are you kidding me? I mean, realistically, you talk about a player not showing up, and whoever voted for Rudy Gobert as Offensive Player of the Year 4 times, you need to have those paperwork revoked from you. I'm serious, a joke. That's sad. 4 times, not 1, 4 years consecutively. Are you kidding me? What are you watching? What are you seeing? Because you can't be seeing defense at its best. You can't be. So there's a lot of flukery going on in the NBA. But Towns, clown, bro. Clown.
Yeah, I think Kyrie is not on that Olympic team, not because he can't play, and I haven't heard anybody else say this, but because the stance he took on that documentary years ago. That's why he's not on that U.S. team. So I don't know why people are scared to say that, but that's the way I see it. That there's no way they were going to put him on that U.S. team, and they were going to hear it from the talking heads about, oh, he did this and bring up his past stuff. So that's my thoughts on that one.
But that U.S. team, I mean, I'm just going to say it. They went to, if I'm correct, they went to Grant Hill with that team together, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Really?
Yeah.
Really, Grant. You put together, Grant is who he is, but, whatever he does. But you put together players, it's not even ready to, it's Andrew can't even play. Seriously? You think that team is put together well? I mean, I don't get it. But I mean, like you said, nobody's gonna come out and say that. Why would they put Kyrie up there for that? For what reason? They don't want to hear that. And he don't think like he doesn't represent the America. Come on, man. That team's a joke beyond itself. It really is. It's a joke. Grant, you got to put Grant Hill to put that together. Grant Hill, again, take away some of these papers because these cats don't really earn what they're doing.
All right, let's go to the Major League Baseball report with Ice Water. I see my Yankees are up 2 games on Baltimore. Where you at, Baltimore? Where you at? Where you at? But I'm seeing, I talked about earlier, Chicago White Sox, worst team in baseball. They only won 15 games this year, and I'm pretty sure that the owner's trying to sell the team. He wants to get a stadium first before he sells the team. And this manager is not going to make it. I think the manager will quit before he makes it through the whole season because he's so frustrated. It's sad. It's sad to see. But, you knew the job you were taking. You knew the club you were getting. So, why all the frustration?
Yeah, man. When you speak on that, it's hard though for guys that have been in baseball for so long to turn down a major league baseball manager position. I mean, because you think everybody from the start, even Black Thor knows that everybody had a chance to win at the beginning. At the beginning of the season, you got 162 games. You go, we got a shot, baby. We got a shot. 10 games in, you go.
This ain't gonna work.
Damn. You sitting there going like, I gotta wait 155 more motherfucking games of this pain, and they ain't even sending me a coupon for a free Fresca or a sandwich. Nothing. No rebate on my cable or DirecTV or my bootleg cable, whatever. They ain't sending me nothing on it for a new Fire Stack. You just sick. So I get that, but I understand that. But the report itself, it's amazing what just a couple of weeks ago, and the Yankees are in first place in the East, and we got the cheerleaders over there talking, where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Okay, what? Okay. Have you not paid enough money when you should be in first place for the whole damn season? How about that? And we're worried about the postseason when we get there. So with that being said, in the AL East, the Yankees lead that division, Baltimore by 2 games. So that's where they at. They're only 2 games back. Moving over to the Central, Cleveland is up on Kansas City by 5 games. In the West, in the American League, Seattle is out front of the defending champions, the Texas Rangers, by 4 games. Still playing pretty good baseball in a small market place out in Seattle. In the NL, looking over to the East, Philly is up on Atlanta by 7.5 games. Can them old dudes hold on, man? They spend a lot of money over there too. You get that Epsom salt out and get your I see how that. Hope you can hold on and hold on for dear life. Hoping like that when you're on that life raft, somebody come by and pick you up before you let go. Anyway, you understand. Without to the Central, we have Milwaukee leading in the division, Chicago by 6.5. So I know you want to throw the Cubs away. Only 6.5 back, right in second place. And finally in the West, in the National League division, the Dodgers are coasting, leading San Diego by 5.5 games easily. You know, every time we're looking at Pops, I know you listening. Don't celebrate yet and break open the brand new bottle of peach Kool-Aid you got over there as a champion because they still got to win it, even though they spent a lot of money.
Before we go to Blackthorn, let's talk about the Major League Baseball integrating the Negro League stats into Major League Baseball. I wanted to get your thoughts on that. And lo and behold, Josh Gibson. As Bubba Dub would say, Ty Cobb must be rolling in his grave right now, knowing that he's not first in Major League Baseball. I thought this was a long time coming. And folks who are arguing against it, oh, it's not fair, check your biases, check your racism, because we did a show years ago that showed when the Negro Leagues went up face to face, head to head with Major League Baseball, they have a winning percentage, over 60% of those games. So I don't want to hear that it wasn't the same competition. When they went head to head, they spanked that ass. Ice?
Yeah, a lot of times people don't understand that the talent, a lot of it was better than Major League Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, better. When I may say that, like I told you before, when Jackie Robinson joined the Kansas City Monarchs prior to connecting with the Brooklyn Dodgers, that there was a war going on at the time, and a lot of the players from Kansas City Monarchs were drafted, and they went and they left. And one of the historians said that if Jackie Robinson, if everything stayed copacetic and nobody left for the war, Jackie Robinson probably would not have made that team. Hear me. And we know how great Jackie Robinson was, the man he was, and what he represents. And he was a hell of a baseball player. If they tell you he could not make the Kansas City Monarchs based on talent, what kind of talent did they have, right? But moving over to the numbers, what I found about the numbers, I was shocked. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was surprised. I hear baseball, they talk a lot of good games, especially with the lack of African Americans that are playing in the league right now. And for them to still try to keep that history going, I was really shocked. And I was like, they're not going to do this. And then they did it. And I was like, you know, it's going to be a lot of backlash because those certain individuals that see their sacred game the only way, it's almost like Christopher Columbus, right? When they finally took down the damn statues. I was like, nah, they ain't gonna do that. And I live in Columbus, Ohio, and they did. I was like, they took down that damn statue. No way. You're gonna erase that history that you've been telling for all this stuff. Same way with baseball. Now I'm looking like, okay. And I know they murmuring or whatever, but the truth is the truth. I was surprised they did it. I'm happy because you know Josh Gibson has been a lot of things. They said he had a lot of troubles and issues, mental issues, all kind of different things. But he's one hell of a baseball player. I'm surprised they did it, but in a note, I'm kind of frustrated because it's by default. It's like you forced it to them. Now here you go. I think I would have preferred for them to have a separate category where they just show the numbers themselves. And you go back and check it yourself, right? When you start infiltrating their list and you're mixing it up, well, he better, well, I'll never accept that. I'll never accept that because, you know, the purity of baseball has been messed up now because of this. They join all this stuff and I'm confused. That's why I think they should have made a separate list. This is what the Negro League, the best players, and just show the averages. So therefore, when you go back to the so-called natural, the list that they had, you can compare and see that damn, boy was smoking him. He couldn't even compete against such and such and such. But when you mix it up like that, people getting their feelings now. You know, I never saw that guy before. Cobb had to be better because that's all you saw. You never saw Josh Gibson. You didn't see Pat Satchel Bates until he's 59 years old. He was killing when he was 22. That's why I say, people, if you're a video game fan or whatever, that the show game, the most recent one, has a true chapter about Major League Baseball, and it does a wonderful job about checking out the mannerisms and copying a lot of different things. So you get to see who these guys really were. I bought it just because. I mean, sometimes I don't even play the game. I just watch the story. It's beautiful. So with that being said, I'm glad they did it, but as baseball does in the past, always 2 hours and 2 days and 2 years too damn late. Guys like Buck O'Neil come to the Hall of Fame every year, entertain mostly white folks, and y'all heard me say that. And he's singing and being as bubbly as he can, and that man played his ass off in the league. And you couldn't put him in the Hall of Fame just because. Then he dies. Then all of a sudden you want to iron and get them. But there you go, baseball again. I will give you credit on my last point. At least you iron them. It's just too damn late.
Yeah. Black, I always said, when I saw the comments, I went straight to the comments after the story. Oh, this is so unfair and all this, and we're mad about this. Stay mad. Think about the players that, you dishonored, that you didn't, take account for. They should be mad. You have no right or reason to be mad. Think about the players that got shunned out of these leagues for all these years. And their families have to take up the honor because they're dead and gone now, and they never got that acknowledgement they needed. They should be mad. You shouldn't be. Matter of fact, just be quiet in your comments because they mean nothing. Black, what do you think about this story, man?
No, I'm happy that they did it. Like I said, it's 20, 30, 40 years away, if you ask me, man. That's part of the reason why I can't really watch baseball. I just can't really bring myself to watch it because they treat the past like it's sacred, like it's religion, like it's Catholic or something that you just can't go back and mess with. You can't do this. Like, and it's all falsehood. It's a bunch of falsehood. It's a bunch of old white men that brought their kids up on the fantasies of baseball and everything else. Babe Ruth was a drunk. Let's think about it. It was a drunk. A woman philandered drunk, but they never want to talk about that with Babe. It's like if you say that, you know what I mean? Expect the lightning to come out of the sky. I can't deal with that, bro. I can't. I'm glad it happened. I'm glad Major League Baseball is progressive enough to say, you know what, we're going to do this. And I wouldn't even pay attention to people that have a problem with it because half of you that probably talking on social media probably weren't even born. What does it mean to you? You weren't born, but you think you got to write this stuff up and say something? Shut your fat mouth, realistically. So I'm not surprised. And that's Major League Baseball. They need to do more, though. I know they was trying to get into certain areas of urban areas to do some things. More needs to be done. And yeah, people want to complain and say things, but let's not pay attention to that. We know who they are. That's one thing about social media. It gives you a place to hide your face and show your emotions. You know what? Put a big picture of your face out first and then say that. Let's see what happens then.
Yeah. Let's go to the WNBA report with Black Thor. What you got, man?
Here it is, man. The league is up and running, and the season is up and running. And some things are happening, man. A'ja Wilson of the Aces continue to amaze. This young lady against the Lynx this week had 29 points, 15 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 blocks, and 2 steals. That's some work. Let's put some work. And also, she kind of grabbed the record out of history, having 5 consecutive games where she scored over 20 points and grabbed 10 rebounds. We don't think about rebounds a lot of times. We look at the points and realize rebounds are work, bro. You got to go down there and get dirty, got to bang around. She's not a big woman. She's tall, but she's willing to go down there, do what she got to do to put out some rebounds. And speaking of rebounds, Angela Reese made some noise also. She became the second player in history with over 24 offensive rebounds in 5 games. Wow. Think about that. Everybody look at Angela Reese and want to be pretty, don't really want to go down there and get dirty. She's like, nah, I'm going down here and I'm going to grab some offensive rebounds. When a lot of times we watch even the NBA players, half the time the ball goes up, people at the 3-point line, they don't move. They don't go down there, don't box out. They don't want to go down there. Nah, I can't. I got a brand to represent. I can't go down there. Well, these young ladies are going down there, grabbing the ball, almost like Dennis Rodman. I'm very proud of her. Becky Hammon, I love her. She's not missed her words. The reporter asked her the other day, based on what do you think about parity in the league? She said, no, it's not about one player coming to these leagues. These ladies have been building something for a long period of time. There's a lot of good players in this league. And what you're seeing happen now has been building for a while. It's at a turning point. It's not one player that basically they're pointing at. I love it when she said it. Because a lot of times, every time they throw these questions out, they're like, Cole, let's pat Caitlin on the back. No, she didn't want to do that. So I love it. I really love it because at some point, it may never happen. You got to realize this league was in existence long before this young lady started playing in Idol. They were doing their thing. They're going to have a lot of people out there in certain places. But one thing she said as well, the Ace has been selling out for years, bro, selling their games out. Good team. So I said it last week, a lot of these players, a lot of these people now on social media, or watching the game, you didn't even know the WNBA existed 2 years ago. So don't come and act like you know everything about it because you really don't. Even these commentators, a bunch of you bozos didn't pay attention, didn't know what's going on. But these fine ladies have been cooking and dealing it for quite some time. But that being said, man, I'm impressed with the Minnesota Lynx. Even though they lost to the Aces, that team is up and coming. Some young players they have in that team. The coach, they're being coached very well. Phoenix Mercury, they took a pounding last week, but they lost by 40 points. 40 points. It's like that's I know maybe they're in the rebuilding stage, but I don't know when Diana Taurasi, she's 42 years old. If you don't retire now, when you gonna retire? It's time to go out the way. You've done your thing, you did the best you could. It's not there anymore. And Connecticut Sun quietly is still hanging on, doing some strong things. Liberty is a little up and down. They act like they want it, but some nights they get taken to task. But the league is often, the season's often rolling. Some good things are happening. I keep a close eye on it throughout the offseason. And I think in August they go for the championship.
All right. So we got two stories that I put on the topics list. Hard Knocks have selected the Chicago Bears, and you know Hard Knocks is the kiss of death to teams when they're featured on there. Do you remember last year's Hard Knocks? The New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers goes down the first game. And you can go back, and they said, you know, maybe 37% of the teams that are on Hard Knocks make it to the playoffs. So, you know, the Bears, I didn't think the Bears would do this. They've done it. And so I was talking to Black early on, one of my coworkers who's a lifelong Bears fan, who was like, I'm done with the Bears. Done with the Bears. Caleb Williams is going to get killed by the first 5 games of the season. And they announced that Caleb Williams is QB #1. So the other story is the Tyson Paul fight postponed. Tyson has some emergency health issues on a plane ride, I guess, back home. And his doctor says, hey, you can't train for the next few weeks. So I guess they're scrambling, trying to make that money on Netflix and trying to get a replacement. I'll go to Ice first. Those two stories are on the table, man. You can talk about both or one.
Well, I'm gonna talk about both real quick. I know that's hard for me to do, but I'm gonna do it real quick. When you look at the Bears, man, I mean, Hard Knocks, it's kind of what they deserve. I'm talking about the whole Justin Field thing. You went out and got these people when you wouldn't support that guy. So, you know, if a thing go crazy for you and it doesn't turn out right for you because of Hard Knocks, kind of got what you deserve. So on that point, Tyson, come on, man, Tyson Paul, man, really, I know you're frustrated because your cash cow, your big money, your opportunity fell what do the wayside, and you got this. You can't hold the card until Mike gets ready. Mike had an ulcer, man. Dang, go on. That shows you he's just older, worrying about some stuff too. But Mr. Paul, you still gonna come up and talk your stuff and act like it's no big deal to do 58, bro. 58 years old, you still trying to act like this is legit. Again, I'm still waiting us to do this wrestling show so we can put all this bullshit together.
We'll do it this summer, definitely. Black got two stories on the table.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on the Bears first. It don't surprise me they're on basically the show Hard Knocks, man, because Hard Knocks sucker these teams in every single year, man, for attention. They come in, we pay attention. I stopped watching Hard Knocks years ago. I just don't pay attention to it. But they sucker these teams, and well, it's good football, and it's not. So they must pay them handsomely well. There's some type of contract that they offer them that they just can't turn it down. So, kudos to that. I was saying to you earlier, man, the quarterback, Caleb, to me, I want to see adversity, how he handles adversity, because it's going to come. He's not going to play this league without it. And that's the question mark I have about him is when things don't go well, when the fans are yelling and screaming, when the writers are writing your name bad and everybody's talking bad about you, how do you deal with it, boss? Because I'm not sure that team is set to help them in that area. And when you draft #1, it comes with the territory. Mike Tyson's other cat, man, I'm going to say this. Like Ice was saying, he's complaining and talking. I hope that other ex-boxers, and I'm going to put it straight out there, men of color, stop fighting this clown. Stop fighting him. He's using you and exploiting you to make money. Even Mike Tyson, bro. Don't even, if you can get out of it. I mean, realistically, let him get in a real match and get his ass kicked. Until he can do that, stop signing up for a circus where you got to wear a headgear and all this stuff. Why do that? I mean, it's a joke. I know they're going to pay you well, but they're clowning you. You're being clowned. So stop it. Until he's ready to kind of get in the real match and battle and show what he can, stop letting this white man, fool you and they get him to act like he's something he's not. That's all it is. It's a minstrel show. That's all it is.
All right, we're wrapping up our season with this show, but we'll be back if some breaking stories come back. We'll drop a show every now and then during the summer. I know the boxing show, we're going to do that because there are a lot of bouts coming up. We're going to do our last second shots, and I want you guys to think about what story kind of stood out to you most this season when you think about the last second shot. Ice?
Man, you would do this. I'm gonna try to split this because I feel one kind of way about one thing, but I'm gonna go with this way. I want to say the advancement of women's college basketball. I know the first thing people think about is Caitlin Clark, and that's great. But I'm talking about the last 2 years where you think about a lot of these young ladies, because of the talent and the way that they played the game, competing against one another, have become household names, right? So you think about a USC, think about the growing programs at Baylor, you think about, as far as Tennessee trying to come up, Ohio State, Iowa, different things like that too. You look about the two national champions in the last 2 years, LSU, South Carolina. And you think about the exposure that the media's provided. Granted, people are like, oh, well, the media jumped on the bandwagon because they were exciting times. There were great games to watch. So you're starting to see how a lot of the women's basketball talent throughout the country is being spreaded. So you're starting to watch games from Utah, right? Utah University playing real well, the Oklahoma States, and all throughout the way that there's so many teams, North Carolina State, that are looking real good. And you're starting to see other young ladies that normally would not get any time on TV now are getting the rightfully exposure that they deserve. So I love it because it opens the door for coaches, teams that you normally don't see, and the tournament is more exciting than the men's tournament right now. You're turning them on. You want to see them. And the way that this attention has spilled over into the WNBA as well, I think they are the college basketball, women's college basketball is still headed for some very exciting times. I think they're going to be definitely worthwhile, deserving. I think it's going to continue to build, and we'll see what happens with the WNBA. But I think women's college basketball is vibrant right now. I'm looking forward to the next season because these young ladies are getting better, and they're proving to you that it's not just one group. It's not just Connecticut. It's not Tennessee like it used to be back in the day. It's all over, and you got to bring it in order to win it.
Black?
For me, it's NIL, man. It's NIL, basically, how basically the impact it's had on college sports, for the good, basically. When we talked about this for a long period of time, there's been a ruling that came down a little while ago where they're going to be playing players of the past. Just see these players being honored monetarily for the work they have done, for what they're bringing to the sport. So these coaches getting fat and rich. These players are basically being awarded for what they're bringing and not being used as a tool just to make the university money. So for me, it's been the NIL, man. I gotta say one other thing too, my last second shot, man. Of course, I gotta salute myself, man, with the 3-peat. Some people may not be happy about it, might get mad about it, but it existed. It existed. You don't get it every day. So you got teams right now trying. Denver couldn't do it. A lot of teams couldn't do it. But guess what? Your boy did it. So something to think about over the summer, Joe. Something to think about.
Touche. I kind of got two. I gotta hit Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, how they started, how they kind of revitalized Colorado. That was a big story. But I gotta give the biggest story to Dawn Staley. Had a team that wasn't expected to go that far. They went undefeated and won a national championship and brought tears to our eyes when she brought that championship home back to South Carolina. So I got to give it to her. That was one of the biggest stories. It was really great to see, and it was well deserved by her. So I got to give it to Dawn Staley. We will be back periodically, but we will be back, especially in the NFL season this year. But you'll see us throughout the summer dropping, shows every now and then. But this is our hiatus. And so check out the rest of the episodes and get caught up for next year. Peace.